There is no product that we have promoted more on Fightful that I use while I'm awake than NordVPN.com/Fightful. You guys have probably seen me anchored to my desk an awful lot for quite a while, and I've always got NordVPN on all my devices. That's because that's what NordVPN.com/Fightful allows. You get the fastest VPN in the world on all your devices, on all your operating systems. It is so beneficial to have that versatility. Here at home, I put it on my router just in case, and I put it on my phone, laptop, desktop, PC, and smart TV. That allows you to get all the benefits. The online threat protection, the ability to change your virtual location with just one click, the ability to use that NordPass password manager, the file encryption tool, all that good stuff on everything. Also, you can subscribe to all those overseas services I'm telling you all about, all with 24/7 tech support and a 30-day money-back guarantee on top of an already amazing deal. Protect yourself on all your devices with NordVPN.com/Fightful. What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp here at Wrestlecade. We just saw Sam Laterna walk by. That's a rival. That's a rival right there. That's a rival interviewer right there. We don't pay her any attention.
She's better than you. I didn't mean that. I don't mean that. Me and Sean Ross Sapp were best friends.
That's what he said last year.
I think I did say that last year, and I sincerely mean it. I hope you know that.
Do you ever get tired of Black Crow's jokes? You know, she talks to angels and stuff.
I think that's a little before my time, Sean. You know, I'm only 25. I know I look 42.
You've heard the song.
I know I look 42, but I'm actually 25.
There's no way you haven't heard the song.
Probably not. I don't know.
You have never heard the song. Nobody's ever made the reference to you.
I legitimately have no idea what you're talking about.
Your name is Angels. Are you serious?
Yeah, I honestly don't know what you're talking about.
So, I mean, like with your name,
right?
Do you hear songs and see things and you make little puns? Is that a deal?
No, I don't think so.
You should become a pun guy.
A pun guy? Is that what you want from me? Do I look like a pun guy to you?
A little bit.
I don't know if you know this. I'm not in the Dark Order anymore. I don't make silly little funny jokes, Sean.
You know what's interesting about the Dark Order? We sat here last year, and obviously things were a little more contentious with you all since then. And I said, say one nice thing about Evil Uno.
Do you remember what I said?
In my head, I said, that guy's got great eyelashes. And you said, he's got really great eyelashes. And I was like, he does.
He does.
I saw him without his mask, and I recognized him immediately.
From his eyelashes.
From his eyelashes.
Yeah. Extremely, an ugly guy, if
Sure.
we're being honest. Ugly. But
subjective.
The eyelashes are absolutely insane. And he's got a great bald head. Everybody that has a bald head has a great bald head. But the eyelashes are A1. Yeah.
They are incredible eyelashes.
Yeah.
If you had to think of another nice thing to say about him a year later, what would it be?
Well, I did wrestle him at C4 Wrestling up in Ottawa.
Yep.
And I lost. So, I guess I kind of have to say that he's a good wrestler.
There you go.
If I don't say that, then I lost to a bad wrestler. So, he's a good wrestler. I'll give him that.
You've been killing it in Impact, now TNA.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think about the switch back to TNA? Because the last time they were TNA, you were a little tyke, a little teenager back then.
Yeah, that is true. I actually went to TNA Bound for Glory in 2007.
Ooh.
My dad worked with AJ Styles' aunt, who gave us free tickets.
That is incredible.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird story. But, no, it's awesome. I mean, like I said, I watched TNA when I was a kid, and to say that I'm a TNA wrestler is, like, super cool. A TNA X Division star. All the women are like super excited that they're TNA knockouts. Like, I think that's really cool. So I'm really excited, and I think it's like the perfect time for them to like do the rebranding, because Impact has built itself up like over the last year or so. Ever since I got there, the stock has been going up. I don't know if you noticed, but and they've made a name on their own without the TNA logo, and now that Impact has that momentum behind it and it's changing the brand, I think it's the perfect time to do it.
I loved it because, I mean, I had spoken to another TNA wrestler about this. Like, obviously, like 3 regimes ago, there was the LOL TNA thing, and some not so great things happened. But the last few years, we have seen like a real romanticism of what TNA was and the great things.
And for like a 4 or 5 year period, that's where I was parked. That's what satisfied me as a viewer. Sanjay Dutt and Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin and that X Division and a lot of those things. We're seeing people like even Chris Bay, like videos of them as children emerging where they're like, I want to be X Division champion.
Yeah.
Was that something you ever aspired to be? Was that something you looked at?
Yeah, I was definitely in that boat of the guys that watched TNA and saw the X Division, kind of like how the generation before me saw the WCW cruiserweights.
Yes.
Guys that are their size, a little smaller than the main event guys, out there stealing the show every week. And it's like, I want to do that. Like, to me, the two titles that I always wanted to hold were the Intercontinental title and the X Division title. Yeah. And, that's always been a goal for me. And now that it's the TNA X Division title, it's even more of a goal for me. You still see on Twitter that, like, there's like LOL Impact, LOL TNA, like you still see that hate that's, but if they're saying that on Twitter, they obviously have not been watching the product at least the last 2 years. So
how does it feel to know that you ruined wrestling by not completely jobbing out to Kenny Omega? Like, how does it feel to know that wrestling never recovered from what you did, and I've got to bring it back by physically wrestling again? Like, I've got to save it because you wouldn't just roll over and take the L.
That is true. I don't think that, I think I've been asked about that more than anything in my entire career.
I never have asked you, though.
And I appreciate that, Sean. I really do, because that's the number one question that I get every single time. I don't know. I ruined wrestling. It is what it is. It's happened before. I'm sure it'll happen again. Somebody will go a little too long. That match wasn't even that long.
It wasn't.
It was like 6 minutes.
A few minutes long.
I also want to point out that everyone says that it was on Dark, and it wasn't. It was on Dynamite. So, yeah, I went 6.5 minutes with Kenny Omega on Dynamite. And then a year later, I went 8 minutes with Kenny Omega on Dynamite.
If you want to go 60, get BlueChew.com code FIGHTFUL. Anyway.
I use Blue Chew.
There, look at that. We're going to cut that into an ad read right there. But, I mean, obviously, Kenny saw something in you if he wanted that match to go 2 minutes, he probably could have said something backstage and said, give us 2. But, I mean, I think anybody that sees your work sees that in you. So, I mean, that was objectively a good spot for you at that point of your career.
We did a spot together on an indie show. They were doing a bunch of indie shows right before AEW started. Like Kenny wrestled Phoenix on MCW, I believe it was, and then they came to Southern Honor Wrestling in Georgia, and I was the champion there at the time. And so we ended up doing a little spot together where, we did a little spot, and then he gave me the knee, and then went for the V-trigger, and Chris Jericho came out. It was a whole thing. But basically, he knew me from that. So I think he kind of, trusted me to, have a fun little match with him.
And you're having a lot of fun matches in Impact TNA now. Well, how has that been for you? Because it's one of those things, and I spoke to Deanna and Steve Macklin before I spoke to you, and it's one of those situations, they wanted the opportunity to show people that they were everything they thought they were. People already got to see some of that from you, and especially your personality on a lot of things, but this has really let you stretch your legs, spread your wings, and do a lot of things.
Yeah, I think Steve and Deanna are kind of in the same boat as me, as in, they were on big stages before, didn't really get a chance to show everything that they could do, and now we're in this environment where we have that freedom to show that we can have good matches with good wrestlers and hold our own with some of the best in the world. And Steve is one, and Deanna both are two people that have really, really shined in Impact, and over the next few years, that's what I hope to do in TNA, because the talent that we have there right now is absolutely insane, and I think I can go with all of them. So
it's like the last couple of years, it's been back to the X Division that I adored so much.
Yeah.
Like, I tune in and I know that on Dynamite or a pay-per-view, or not a Dynamite, an Impact, I'm gonna see a killer X Division match. I know I'm gonna see something that maybe I haven't seen before, or something done in a way that I haven't seen before.
Yeah.
I feel like in wrestling, like your eye is almost trained so much that when you see something done a little bit different, you look at it and you're like, oh my God, that's different, that's special. And the X Division does that so much.
Yeah, 100%. I think the X Division has always been a place of innovation, not only in TNA, but in wrestling. I think people on bigger stages watch the X Division and they're like, oh, I want to do that. And then, you see something done in the X Division, you'll see it on, national TV a week later. So, don't be surprised if that continues to happen while TNA gets even bigger and bigger and bigger. But we got guys like Chris Bay, Ace Austin, Speedball Mike Bailey, Alan Angels himself, Trey Miguel, the Rascals, Zach Wentz. We got all those guys in the X Division. And it's a treat to work with any of those guys for sure.
What's been your favorite thing you've done in Impact TNA so far?
My favorite thing I've done.
Besides these 2 interviews.
Well, besides these 2 interviews and the interview that I had with Denise last week.
Let's just cut the mic right now.
I think Denise is a little better. Anyways, I don't know. Probably I would say my match with Speedball that I had at Emergence was really good. Probably my favorite match that I've had there so far. I also wrestled Jonathan Gresham in Atlanta.
Incredible.
And we're both Atlanta guys, and the whole time they were chanting, ATL, ho! And I was like, well, this is a different chant.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah. And I would love to do that again. Jonathan Gresham's he's another guy he's in the X Division, and he's just he's killing it.
He's a wizard.
Yeah,
I watch his old tutorial videos he has on YouTube.
Yeah.
He will break down a technique in a way that you can understand it in like 20 seconds.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how does he make that look so effortless?
Without going too much inside baseball, he's one of those guys that he can have a good match with anybody. And I was just in the ring with him, and he's making me do things that I'm not expecting, and he's great. He's a class. He's one of the best that we have for sure.
Tell the people where they can support you, where they can follow you, where they can check out what you're doing.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know already, and if you don't know what's wrong with you, my name is Alan Angels. You can find me on Twitter, on Instagram. For some reason, I haven't changed it, but I think it's still Alan_V_Angels on both Instagram and Twitter. And I have a YouTube channel that I might start using soon. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, that's about it.
I guess you could say I just talked to Angels, guys.
See, I don't get it.
We're out.
I don't understand.